Welcome to our video on building business credit. In this video, we're going to go over who this program is for. We're going to go over the different uses for business credit, some of which you're going to be very familiar with. There's going to be some new and fun ways to use business credit that we're going to go over in this program as well. We're going to go over in detail how our system works. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what we need from you in order for you to be successful with this program. Let's dive right in. So the first question is, who is this program for? This program is for those with an existing business who are looking to grow that existing business to meet some of their income goals. It's also for those that have a business idea and they want to get capital in order to start a business so they don't have to drain their savings to do it. They want to do it with other people's money. It's also for those of you who don't want to start from scratch, but they want to buy someone else's business and leverage the hard work that others have done. And we can also generate business credit for that purpose as well. This is also for people who tried building credit and got too many denials. It's for those of you who got approved for some credit, but you want to get more and you just don't know how to do it. And our program will help you break through that glass ceiling and reach your business credit goals the way you intend to. It's also for those of you who you need business credit, but you just don't know exactly where to start and you're looking for a little bit of assistance to get there. And that's what our program will provide for you. Before we get started, this is what we're going to do. We're going to challenge what you think is possible to achieve with business credit. We're going to challenge the way you view business credit in the past. We're going to show you a lot of new ways about how business credit works. And we're going to shatter some of the myths, and we're going to show you some ways that you can really increase your income using business credit. We're going to let you take a peek behind the curtain, and you're going to see how it's possible. We have multiple clients building 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 plus, even if they came to us with zero credit built and zero credit experience. So I am the author of the best-selling book, Corporation and LLC Secrets. It can be found on Amazon. I wrote this book to show people how to get the most out of their corporations and LLCs. And one of the things that I cover in the book is building business credit that's not attached to your Social Security number. That's building credit without a personal guarantee. That means that you can build credit that if you can't pay it back because your business fails, that it stays within the business. They can't come after your personal assets in order to pay off the debt. One of the other fun things I teach is how to move personal expenses over to your business legally. The book covers a lot of sections on that. I also teach advanced asset protection strategies that help protect not only business assets, but personal assets as well. That's what the book covers. But how did I get started? I actually started my first business when I was 21 years old. I had a tutoring business and I started driving to people's homes and I was teaching them SAT prep, different English classes, and other subjects as well. Eventually I expanded and hired other tutors and formed a tutoring company. At 21, I had really good credit. I had a lot of credit cards. I was paying them on time. I had a car loan that I was paying on time. So my credit was pretty good even at that age. The problem is I kept getting denials for business credit because business credit has completely different rules from personal credit. And I found that out the hard way. Personal credit, all you have to do is get your cards, open them up, pay them on time, and you're good. Business credit takes a lot more steps. You actually have to set up the profile yourself. And it took me many, many years figuring this out. I formed banking relationships to help get inside information. I would, talk to a lot of the business banking reps, and sometimes they give me some information on what I needed to do to get approved. And in other cases, the business banker didn't even know what the criteria were because the decision was made in some back office in the middle of the country. So it took a lot of trial and error for me to figure out the process and get to the point where I was able to build over 500,000 in business credit for a company and then be able to duplicate that across several corporations and LLCs multiple times over. And through that process, I ended up coming up with a streamlined system that I'm sharing with you today. This is what you can do is you can bank on my mistakes in order to get to the place that you need to be successful. But when I first started, here's what I was missing. I didn't have someone to hold my hand through the process. I had to bumble through it myself, and that took years. I didn't know where and how to set up my business credit profile. I thought, like personal credit, that, hey, it just happened automatically. Once you open a card, they just start reporting. That's not always the case. I also didn't know what I had to fix in the background of my business before even applying to cards. I didn't realize there was a whole process that I had to do to clean up and get my business set up for success as far as applying for cards. I also didn't know which credit products to apply for and in what order. I didn't realize there was a particular order, and you had to start with a particular tier of credit before you can move on to the next step and the next step and the next step to get those really big credit lines. So what I want to do with you is I want to start with the end in mind, and let's talk about why you want business credit. There's a lot of common uses for it, and that's probably why you're here watching the video today. And one of the more common ones is startup costs. A lot of people use it to start a business, which is a great way. You use business credit to start up a business instead of draining your savings. Some people want to grow an existing business by adding equipment, which increases the revenue of the business and hopefully the profitability. Another good use for business credit. And some of you want to use it for working capital. Some of our businesses, like mine, are seasonal, meaning there's slow seasons and there's busy seasons. And it's sometimes good to have that working capital to get you through the slow seasons. Helps you pay vendors on time, or if an unexpected expense comes up, you're covered without having to stress. So very good use of business credit for working capital. Now let's get into some of the fun stuff. Now, here's what's great is that a lot of people use business credit for marketing. There's a lot of small business owners, especially solopreneurs, that are scared to bring on a company to do marketing for them. But if you have business credit where you're basically lessening the risk, it helps you out a lot to bring someone on to generate leads to really increase the revenue of your business and the profitability of your business using other people's money. So hire a company to create a marketing funnel that feeds leads into your system so you can make all the money that you need to reach your goals. Now, here's an even more fun one. Using business credit for investments. I actually have some clients that are real estate investors that we built some business credit for. They were able to build up several $100,000s in credit in order to purchase a real estate investment property. Because it was a credit line that they obtained through their business, it means that there was no lien placed on the house. They got money to purchase the house, and the bank can't take the house if they default on the credit line because there's no lien involved. So it's a really good way to grow your investment portfolio. I borrowed $40,000 from a credit line that I recently obtained a few years back, and I put that in cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency went up 10 times. And what I did is I didn't take the money out. I could have taken the money out to pay off the loan. I paid the loan off slowly over time because the interest rate was so good with the income that I was already generating from my business. So I was able to just maintain 100% of that investment separately, and it all came from using other people's money. Here's a really exciting way to use business credit that most people don't even know about. You can actually use your business credit for asset protection. You can use it to protect not only your business assets, but also your personal assets. So here's what you do. You have your corporation or your LLC, get a few $100,000 in business credit. Then you take that money and you have your corporation lend money to you. Then what you do, because your corporation is acting as the bank in this case, you can have your corporation then put a lien on your house. Now, why would you want to do that? Most people, most of their wealth is tied up in the equity in the home that they own. And that means that it's vulnerable to lawsuits. So if you get in a car accident or you get sued by someone on the personal side, if they obtain a judgment against you, they can put a lien on your house to make sure that you pay the judgment. So that means that whenever you sell your house, you're going to have to pay a portion of that money automatically to fulfill that judgment. If you have all the equity used up by a lien that you put on by your corporation, that means there's nothing available for someone to sue you. It's a really great tactic to protect your equity in your home. Now let's see an interesting trick on how you can use that same money to protect your business assets. So remember, you borrowed money from your corporation, right? Then you take that few $100,000 that you borrowed and you lend it back to your corporation. You don't pay off the loan that you took. So you lend money to your corporation. And now, because you're acting as the bank, you put a lien on the corporation's assets. You put a lien on their bank account. You put a lien on any equipment you own through your corporation. And that means that if your business gets sued, that makes it much more difficult for someone to take away what you have in the company because it's already spoken for. You're the lien holder because you're the one who lent money back to the corporation. So now let's talk about our product, the Business Finance Suite, where you get all the credit your business needs. Let's go over everything that's included in the program so that you have a pretty good understanding of what it is that we offer. See, it's important to know that you can't build business credit or anything significant under a sole proprietorship. And the reason for that is that in a sole proprietorship, everything is personally guaranteed by the business owner. So what we include in our program will form your corporation or LLC for you if you don't have one already. If you have one already, you're all set to go. If you don't have one, we will form it for you as part of our package. We will even consult with you to see which one is better for your business situation. Some people get stuck on, oh, should I do a corporation? Should I do an LLC? And we'll evaluate your situation and help you make that decision so that you can choose the best one that works for you. It's also included is a personal credit advisor. And so what that means is you have someone holding your hand through the process. You have access to them Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can call them 10 times a day, every day if you choose, if you're moving that quickly. And the good part is, if they don't hear from you, they're going to check in with you once per week just to see if you got stuck on anything, if you need help with anything. They're going to do some of the work for you. And for the stuff that you have to get identified for, there's some of the work you have to do yourself because the banks are going to want the actual business owner to be the one calling in. Also, you get access to your personal credit advisor for 12 months. So you want to make sure and keep up on the program because that's a very valuable asset. All right, so let's do an overview of our finance suite. We're going to do a brief overview of all the steps to building hundreds of thousands of dollars in business credit. We're going to go over a few of the 50 fundability factors that are necessary in order to set up your business foundation properly. These are the factors that you have to go through before you even apply. We're going to show you a few of those so you get an idea. And this is before you even go out and start submitting applications. We're going to give you a few client examples. Okay, so here is what our business finance suite looks like. You'll see here there's 7 steps. So the first step is the fundability foundation. That's where the 50 fundability factors, we put your business through every single one of those to make sure they're ready to go before you apply. Then we establish your business credit reports. Remember, you have to do those yourself. That's how it's different from personal credits. You actually have to go in there and physically set them up. Then we start building tier 1 credit. These are going to be your smaller trade lines and get them to start reporting because you're not going to have a business credit report set up if you haven't done any of this yet. Monitor the business credit reports to make sure that everything's reporting. And then once it has, then you're ready for tier 2. Then you apply for tier 2 and you're going to get approved because you've covered all these steps above. Sit at tier 2 for a while, run a few transactions, make sure they report, and you repeat it again with tier 3. And each tier, the credit limits go up and the perks get better because the goal is to get to the promised land here, tier 4. These are the revolving credit accounts where you can use anywhere. Some of the tier 1s, you're going to get credit cards that you can only use at a specific place. Like you might just get a gas card that you can only use for gasoline. And here you might get a Home Depot card that obviously you can only use at Home Depot. But once you start getting to the higher tiers, they become regular revolving Visa and MasterCards that you can use for anything. This is how you can use it for marketing, or you can use it for investments or some of the asset protection strategies that we mentioned. This is where you want to be. This is where the big money actually comes in. But you can see all the steps of the process as we go. So let's take a little bit of a peek at the fundability foundation and a few of those fundability factors that get your business in line for before we even begin to apply. So here's step 1 broken down into all these steps over here. So it tells you how to name your business in a way that's going to get you more approved. Credit lines. It's going to give you some ideas on the address, how to set up your business entity, and all these. There's all these details under all of these that you have to clean up and make sure they fit a certain scope in order to be approved. Sometimes a bank will deny you just for some small detail in one of these categories. Let me give you an example. Even if you have a cell phone that's in the business name, you will get denied for many business credit products. They want to see a landline, or they want to see a voice over IP, as you see down here at the bottom of the screen, because that shows that you're a more stand-up business, you're more established. Now, I know a lot of people don't have landlines anymore, but if you have a landline in your home and it's in your personal name, that's not going to work. It has to be in the business name. I recommend a voice over IP. There's a service I use that's really great. You can fax from it. You can forward calls to your cell phone. but it fulfills the requirements in order to be approved for business credit. And as you can see in the little video that accompanies here, that you have to have your business listed in the National 411 directory. And most of these business voice over IP lines do that automatically. However, this module shows you how to check, and if it's not there, how to upload it manually so that it's listed, because a lot of banks are going to just check, and if it's not listed, they're going to go ahead and deny your application. So this is just one example. There's several fundability factors just in the business phone number module here, 1.5, as you can see. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that just kind of gives you an example. Now, here's a real client example about a fundability factor. One of my clients, he's a real estate agent. And what you probably don't know is that banks consider that a risky industry. There's several industries that banks don't feel comfortable lending to because they label it risky. And so what we did is we looked at all aspects of our client's business, and we realized that being a real estate agent was only a portion of what he did. He offers property management to people who buy investment properties through him, and he does really well with that. So what we did is we recoded his business industry to be property management, because that's the majority of what he does anyway. And once we did that, he got past his roadblock and he was able to build $350,000 in just 5 months. So it was just a simple retooling that he would have never figured out on his own. But, just want you to be aware of some things. These are, what banks consider risky industries. Here's just a few. We mentioned already real estate agents, businesses such as debt collection companies, mortgage brokers, and then some random ones like dating services, casinos and gambling, cannabis products. These are all things that banks would consider risky industries. Whether it's true or not, they just don't feel as comfortable lending to them at all. Or if they do, they're not going to get very good interest rates, or the credit lines are going to be a lot smaller. So be aware of these. This is one of the 50 fundability factors that we put your business through in the program. Now let's look at step 2, establishing business credit reports. Remember, you have to physically do this yourself. So here we've got Dun & Bradstreet, Business Experian, Business Equifax. Once you've got them set up, then it tells you how to monitor them to make sure that they're reporting accurately. But here's what's great is when you click on Dun & Bradstreet, there's a video there that pulls up the website and it shows you exactly what you need to click on and exactly what you need to enter in order to set it up. So it's very easy. But if ever you get stuck in any one of these processes, you can always call your business credit advisor and they can help call on your behalf, or they can hold your hand through the process and assist you so that you can do it yourself. Let's talk about how business credit is rated. As you can see, it's from 0 to 100. So 0 to 49 is considered high risk. Then we've got medium risk, and your goal is to get into the 80 to 100 range. But here's something that's interesting, that's different about business credit from personal credit. This is normal. Down here, here's what they score you. 60 days beyond terms means beyond past the due date. So that means if you're paying 60 days late, you get a 40. If it's 90 days, you get a score of a 30, and so on down the road. If you're medium risk, you can see here, 30 days beyond terms, 22 days beyond terms, 15 days past the due date. The score rises as the days late go up. Here's where it gets really different, because the other part's normal. Here's where it gets really, really different. Something that most people don't realize. If you pay on time, you're still penalized. You can get no higher than 80 if you pay on time, on the due date. But if you pay early, here's the thing. We teach you in our program, you have to pay early in order to get to 90 or 100. Most people think, oh, I'm just paying on time. My business credit is great. Why don't I have a perfect record? They actually reward you for paying earlier. That's one of the main things that's different between business credit and personal credit. And that's one of the things we teach you in the Business Finance Suite. So now we're going to step 3, building credit in tier 1. So you can see here, you need 3 trade accounts. And this is a screenshot, but there's actually 20 options. Here's 3 companies that you can apply for once you get done when you get done with step 1 and 2. You can apply for one of these 20. I'm only showing the top 3, but the Business Finance Suite tells you this. Tells you what the terms are, net 15, net 30, tells you whether there's a personal guarantee required or not. In this case, none of these are. But more important, it tells you which of the business reports that the credit product reports to. You want to make sure that you're reporting to an aggregate of all 3 credit reports, and you can do that by looking at these accounts here. Now, you want to use a credit product that offers services that you're going to use. So gas cards, we all use gas cards. So you can, get the gas card here. This is office supplies. So if you frequently get office supplies for your business, this is a good one. If you don't, it may not be. There are clothing vendors here where you can get t-shirts with your logo on it, jackets and hats with your logo. If that doesn't make sense for your business, don't use that one. So use one that you're actually going to benefit from, and it's in an area that you're already spending money. And then you would move on to the next step, which is monitoring your business credit reports, making sure everything's reporting correctly, making sure there's no misinformation, like maybe they have your address wrong or the rep did a miskey on your address. You want to make sure that all that stuff is accurate, because that small miskey can actually get you denied. So we walk you through that whole process. Then the next step is going to tier 3 and 4, and I'm not going to get into those because that shows the high level accounts that you will see once you get access to the Business Finance Suite, but that will take you all the way to the promised land. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what we have in our Business Finance Suite that helps you get all the business credit that you need. Now, here's something that we always tell our people so that they know that we're watching you. This is an example of a lazy client. We don't get many of these because we try and screen and make sure we're getting people that are motivated to succeed and they're actually going to go through the program. And here is a log that we keep, and it tells all of the reps that have been calling this person from October, November, December, January. So this guy hasn't logged in and he hasn't answered his personal credit advisor's call in over 3 months. So he's been losing a lot of time for progress here. Don't be like that. We can tell if you're logging in and if you're using the system. Make sure that you're staying with it. You want to be more like this guy here. He came to us June 28th. And what's great about him is that he had already applied for a business credit line before he came to us on his own. I think he forgot to put the amount in here when he logged it in, but this was on May 1st, about a little over a month and a half before he came to us. But after he came to us, it was June 28th, he got a $3,000 credit line and a $3,700 credit line. Now remember, the first credit lines you get are a lot smaller because they're approving you with not a lot of history. So those are tier 1 accounts. But look at this guy. He got started in the first week. Usually it takes people 3 or 4 weeks to get their first stuff handled. So good for him. Look at this client here. Here's his call log. The personal information is blacked out. But this guy, he was 2 weeks in. He went in early December. He was 2 weeks in. He already got a pre-approval for $15,000 to $25,000. And he was on top of everything. You can see in the notes here from the credit advisors that he was logging in, he was calling, he was getting stuff handled in the back end of his business, and he got a pre-approval right away, which is really great. That's a decent amount for the first few weeks. As an extra bonus, I mentioned that one of the things we do is we show business owners how to move personal expenses legally over to their business. So you're going to get our tax deductions checklist where we show you how you can deduct up to $151,000 of income on your business. That's going to save you a lot of money in taxes. So we're going to give you this checklist as part of our program here because we want you to win on all aspects. We want you to get business credit so you can make more money, but we also want you to save more money in taxes. So you're going to get this checklist as part of our package. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what we need from you. In order to be successful with this program, you're going to have to dedicate about 30 minutes to an hour each week. Sometimes it's only going to be 30 minutes. Sometimes it's only going to be an hour, but you need to take time each week if you want to keep the forward momentum going. Be sure and take at least one step each week. Sometimes you'll be able to take a few steps in that hour that you dedicate, but take at least one step to keep the momentum going. You want to also follow the steps in order. If you skip around or if you get ahead of yourself, it's going to lead to denials. The system works the way it was intended to work, and if you skip around, you're going to break or miss something that's supposed to get done, and you're going to end up, getting denied for some applications that you put in, and we don't want that. So the goal is to follow the steps in order, and make sure you speak to your credit advisor each week. Don't go several weeks without touching anything in the program, or like that one client who didn't touch it for 3 or 4 months. We get maybe 2 or 3 of those a year, and we try to avoid them in the beginning when we are vetting some of our clients, because we want people that are motivated and want to keep moving so that they can actually walk away with a few $100,000 in credit. And the way to do that is by following these 4 steps on the screen right now. What we also need from you is to trust the process. We've been doing this for a number of years, It, like I said, it came from a lot of trial and error and a lot of collecting information from different business bankers. So trust the process, be coachable, follow the steps that your personal credit advisor is telling you, follow the steps that are in the back end of the business finance suite, and remain consistent. The best way to be successful with our program is to remain consistent in following the steps. Also, be willing to invest in business credit. There's a couple things that you're going to have to do. Like you gave the example of the business phone line. It wasn't crazy expensive. I think it's something like $15 a month, but you're going to have to do some of this stuff in order to not get knocked out of the approval system with banks right out the gate. Also, be willing to purchase business credit reports. Sometimes you're going to have to go in there and pay $40 or something and to get a business credit report to check to make sure everything is being reported correctly before you go to the next tier. So occasionally that's going to come up. And be sure to make small purchases on your credit lines. If you get a credit line, you don't use it, it's not going to help you. But the good news is most of the credit lines that you get access to are products that you're already spending money on, such as gas cards and business supply products and things like that. So that's not going to be an issue. But make sure that you use them because they won't report if you don't use them. So prepare for your call. When you schedule a call with us, you want to be prepared. Put it in your calendar and be sure to set a reminder and be there on time. Your time is important. Our time is important. We want to make sure and set you up for success so that you can get the most out of the call. And also make sure you're in a quiet place with no distractions. That way you can be ready to pay attention and see what's going on, see what we have to offer you, and see what route we need to send you based on your situation. And lastly, have your questions ready. Have a list of questions ready. After watching this video, you probably have some new ideas. Have those ready to discuss with us on the call. And, I think it'll be a lot better if we follow all 4 of these steps to get you all set up to where you need to be. And now you're at the start of something great. I'm excited for where you are because you've contacted us for a reason. And that's because you want to make a difference to grow wealth for you and your family through your business. Be excited about where you are. Get on your call, come with your questions, be ready to go because you're at the beginning of being able to build hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit, which as you can see can go towards investments. It can go towards growing your existing business. It can purchase other businesses so that you can expand your income using other people's money. I'm excited for where you are, and I look forward to working with you. Scroll down further on the page below this video and you'll find video testimonials from our clients about the Business Finance Suite and the difference that it made for their business. Look forward to speaking to you soon.